بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وهو الذي سخر البحر لتأكلوا منه لحما طريا وتستخرجوا منه حلية تلبسونها وترى الفلك مواخر فيه ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون وفي الأرض رواسي أن تميد بكم وأنهارا وسبلا لعلكم وعلامات وبالنجم أفمن يهلك كمن لا يهلك أفلم تعدوا الله لا تحصوها إن الله لغفور رحيم. We're going through the Tafseer of Surah Nahal, and inshallah we're going to be starting today from ayah number 14. As we mentioned before, the Makki surahs, they talk about the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His might, and in discussing the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is to make us understand His greatness. Today, the first ayah, and in fact all of the ayahs, they talk about that subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the purpose of talking about the greatness again is to instill into the people the importance of tawheed and worshipping only one Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and rejecting the falsehood statues that people other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the first ayah today is ayah number 14, and in it Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about the and the thing that is mentioned and you have to understand is that the majority of the Quraysh travel out into the ocean. Not many people used to do that. But yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes in detail this thing that is very, very common nowadays, that is the traveling on the ocean and the different treasures that we can derive from the ocean, the food, resources and so on. That is inshallah going to be. Allah says, وَهُوَ الَّذِي سَخَّرَ الْبَحْرَ. It is He who made musakhar, the ocean. The word musakhar, generally, it means made available for you. But look at the background of this word taskhir. It is opposite to ikhtiyar. Okay? Khiyar or ikhtiyar, it means when a person has a choice to do something. Okay, so I tell you, Isha or not. Okay, so this is ikhtiyar. So you have the choice to come to the masjid for Isha. Come to the masjid for Isha. This is okay. I have a 5-6-year-old. I want him to get into the habit of praying. I will pull him by the ear and bring him to the masjid for Isha. That's taskhir. Whether you like it or not, you have no choice. So simply, when He talks about His creation, He uses the word taskhir for that. Why? Because the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it has no choice in humans. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the creation. Everything has been created for humanity. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word taskhir. And it's not to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not give the creation a choice in the beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that in the beginning, all of this creation actually had a choice to either be musakhar or mukhtar. Musakhar meaning to be forced into a certain category, to be forced to do something, or to have the choice. But the creation refused to take the ikhtiyar because of the weight and the responsibility associated with it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says at the end of Surah Al-Ahzab, إِنَّا عَرَضْنَا الْأَمَانَةَ عَلَى الْأَرْضِ وَالْجِبَالِ فَأَبَيْنَ أَن يَحْمِلْنَهَا وَأَشْفَقْنَ مِنْهَا وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانُ إِنَّهُ كَانَ ظَلُومًا جَهُولًا. We presented the amana to the heavens and the earth and the mountains, and all creations, they refused responsibility, this amana. And what is this amana? Meaning the choice of being able to worship Him, just like human beings. So the creation refused to take it. They were afraid of taking that responsibility because the consequence, which was not fulfilled, then we're going to be punished eternally. Rather, have this limited, do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us to do, and then be destroyed. Better to do that. But the human being took up the responsibility. وَحَمَلَهَا الْإِنسَانِ has the choice to do good, to do bad, whatever he wants he can do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not going to hold his hand and prevent him from doing things that he wants to do. And that is why the concept of accountability, the concept of punishment and reward, it is for the human being. So Allah has made the ocean musakhkhar for the human being. It is available for the human being. It submits itself to the human being, and it is in the service of the human being. لِتَأْكُلُوا مِنْهُ لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا, so that you can consume from it fresh meat. لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا, it refers to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has used this word specifically for the meat of the fish, which means moist and fresh. Moist and fresh meat, which is specific to the fish. Once the meat of the fish basically dries up, that means it's gone rotten. So, لِتَأْكُلُوا مِنْهُ لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا. Now, when it comes to fish, there are different ways that a person gets these fish. Sometimes the fish just wash themselves up onto the shore, and you can consume from it because you don't have to deliver or slaughter the fish. A dead fish, basically, it is consumable. Then sometimes you have these, special spawning seasons where the fish, they go upriver, they swim upriver. You see probably these nature programs where the salmon, they go out to the ocean, but then they come back to where they were born to come and lay eggs. Okay, and they not only do they swim, they actually swim upriver, not only down. Okay. This river took them into the ocean, and then what these salmon do, they actually come back to the same river and they swim upriver against the stream. They jump and they try their best to get back to exactly where they were born, and then they lay the eggs where they were born, and then after laying the eggs, they pass away. Amazing. So you've probably seen again in the nature programs where the bear, it knows where the salmon is. It knows the season that the salmon is going to be there, and it goes and it basically catches the salmon as it's trying to swim upstream to try to lay eggs in its specific location. So this is another that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provides for the human. Those same salmon actually they come and they are made available for the person to catch and utilize and use. And then there are other fish too. I saw a video once on YouTube somewhere where the person is basically taking his boat and he's just sailing through the ocean, and fish are basically just jumping out in their hundreds, and they are jumping into the boat by themselves. And it's again some kind of mating season or something that makes them do that. But again, the wonders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's creation, Allah says here, لِتَأْكُلُوا مِنْهُ لَحْمًا طَرِيًّا, in all the different forms that you have to, and you can catch fish, you will be able to consume them. And of course, putting out the line or putting out a net, which are the normal ways of catching fish. وَتَسْتَخْرِجُوا مِنْهُ حِلْيَةً تَلْبَسُونَهَا, and you extract from the same ocean jewelry that you wear. Meaning, the women usually wear jewelry, and it's referring here to the pearls that people extract from the bottom of the sea in the oysters. So people have to dive deep down and dive and get these oysters, and inside them you will find these beautiful pearls. So Allah says again, in order of the availability of those things. So fish, it's more necessary, it is more needed. Allah mentions that. And then jewelry, it's not as needed, it's a luxury. So Allah mentions that later on. And the word used for it is tastakhriju. Istikhraj basically means to want to extract, to want to take out. Not tukhriju, but tastakhriju. You want to extract. Of course, everybody wants to find find something precious, something valuable. So everybody wants to do it, but sometimes that a person gets a huge pearl or a huge diamond, that becomes very valuable to him. Otherwise, even those fishermen that dive into the ocean to get the oysters, sometimes they maybe find 10 in a week or 20 in a week, and it provides for their day-to-day living expenses. Okay, so that's stuff we do in Qiyyadat al-Sunnah. Also, from Sheikh Sha'arawi was mentioned that the resources Allah has given us, they are according to our needs. And in different times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enabled the human being to take out and extract those resources from different parts of the world. Okay, for example, when we needed coal to burn the engines and so on, the steam engines, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave us a lot of coal. Even now, we are using that same coal for all purposes. Then, 100 years or so ago, we saw in the middle of the desert, the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states, oil became very prevalent, and because again we needed it to, for the fuel for our cars, for the airplanes and everything. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that in abundance and in different parts of the world. Now, different technology has enabled us to extract different resources using a new technology called fracking, which is quite controversial. If you know about it, some people say it's causing earthquakes and so on. Okay, so this fracking, basically they dig deep down into the earth and they shoot high-powered water into the cracks of the earth, and it basically extracts oil and gas from the shale. So different resources that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put into the earth for the human being to utilize, and at different times Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will extract them when they are needed. And you see the boats, mawakhir. This word mawakhir is derived from the word makhar. And the word makhar means to actually, when sailing through the ocean, it makes a. So you see that any kind of sailboat, first of all, you have engines nowadays, and the engines make most of the sound. But if you have a boat which doesn't have any type of engine, and you listen and you put it into the water, it actually makes a sound as it's cutting through the ocean. And that is why the cutting, most of the boats at the top, they have a very sharp, it enables the boat to move very smoothly. So as it cuts through the ocean. So Allah is using that word here. You see boats, they are cutting, and also they are doing this why? So that you can travel to different lands and seek. So you can seek from His fadl, so you can seek from His sustenance, go to different lands and find and explore. And the Muslims were at the forefront of traveling to different lands and finding different lands, different civilizations and so on. This was something that Muslims were very, very good at doing. And finally, when you get His sustenance and you get the fadl from the different lands, you would be grateful for doing that. And He put on the earth rawasi. Rawasi is the plural of rasi, and it refers to the mountains. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He put on the earth these mountains, meaning Allah tamida bikum, so that the earth would not shake with you. And again, we had this earthquake in Nahal, right? We find that most of the earthquakes, they happen usually in areas which are mountains. Okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually put the mountains to prevent earthquakes from happening, but sometimes what happens is that to just give us a lesson and to show us His power, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us those earthquakes. Okay, so the majority of the places where there are earthquakes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has put mountains there to stabilize the earth, just like nails onto the earth. وَأَنْهَارًا, and He made rivers and streams, وَسُبُلًا, and ways, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ, so that you could be guided. So here, if you look at this verse, Allah actually mentioned three important aspects of the earth: mountains, rivers, and land. Mountain, rivers, and land. So in the old days, the Arabs actually used to use mountains as focal points too. So as they were traveling through a desert, a particular mountain came up, they know, okay, we have to pass by this mountain, we're on the right track. And then another mountain comes up to the right hand side, they knew that they were on the right track. And of course, rivers. You come across a river, you know that this is a direction that I'm supposed to be in because I'm supposed to cross a river or go along a river. And subul means ways. So ways. Nowadays we have modern roads, but in the old days, people basically used to tread a certain path, and it used to become a way for people to follow. So he made mountains, and he made rivers and ways, لَعَلَّكُمْ تَهْتَدُونَ, so that you could be guided, وَعَلَامَاتٍ, and he made signs for you. Signs meaning when you use all of these things as signs. And especially, Allah mentions after that, وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ, and especially through the stars, they are guided. They take guidance. Now, the Quraysh, what they used to have two main seasons of travel. One was the summertime, and one was the winter time, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ, they used to travel in summer and winter. In summer, they used to go north to the lands of, they used to do the trading over there. And in the winter, they used to go south to Yemen, and they used to trade over there. So, and in both of these situations, they used to use the stars to get guidance. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses very strong terminology here. And the wording he uses, وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ, and specifically through the stars, they, the Quraysh, are guided. So you could have used this word in different ways. The sentence, it could be used, وَيَهْتَدُونَ بِالنَّجْمِ, people, they take guidance through the stars. And it could be وَبِالنَّجْمِ, and with the stars, people are guided. But specifically, وَبِالنَّجْمِ هُمْ يَهْتَدُونَ, especially through the stars, referring to the Quraysh, guidance. So the Quraysh used to, in their travels, used to be very particular about looking at the stars, finding the guidance through the stars, the way through the stars. And this is also very common. Sailors, pilots, and so on, they use stars for the guidance. And of course, now with modern technology, there are GPS and different kinds of beacons that guide planes. But originally, this was done through the stars themselves. أَفَمَنْ يَخْلُقُ كَمَنْ لَا يَخْلُقُ أَفَلَا تَذَكَّرُونَ. So now, after mentioning all of these things from the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah asks the question. He says, can that entity or that creates equal to the one who doesn't create? Can they both be equal? One is creating, one is making, one is giving you the ocean, one is giving you the fish, one is giving you the animals, he's giving you the stars, he's giving you the mountain, everything he's doing. And then on the you have these statues that you worship that are just sitting there, not doing anything. So even the Quraysh used to believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the creator of everything. They used to believe that. At the same time, they used to say, well, this statue, it helps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do the rain. This one, it helps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do this. This one, it helps Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to do that. So Allah is asking the question that can the one who creates and the one who doesn't create, even according to your own, can they be equal? They cannot be equal. And on top of that, really, if you think, you have statues, they have two qualities. They have a shape and they just sit there. They don't have any aql. They don't have any kind of cognizance. They cannot see, they cannot hear, they cannot speak. The human being is even better than the statues. Yet, those humans were worshipping those statues. Doesn't make sense that in terms of seeing, hearing, talking, human beings have these qualities which make them better than even the statues. So how can they worship the statues? Allah says, do you not take a lesson? Do you not pay attention? Do you not think gather them. There are so many blessings that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wake up in the morning to sleep, in our bodies, in our houses, in our wives, in our children, in the heavens and the earth. Allah again, we will not be able to count them. Allah says in the Quran in another surah that in the earth are signs for the people who have conviction. And even in yourselves, do you not see? So even in the human being, just open up any biology book and think about how the heart functions, how the blood system works, how your hearing works, how your reproductive system works, how the digestive system works. Even the balance that you have as a child, as a baby, they don't have the balance to be able to walk properly. But then the balance, how is it? You know how it's controlled? There are small things inside the ears. There are small things inside your ears that enable you to balance. If those go out of whack, then you start becoming dizzy. You suffer from vertigo. So the first thing, if you are suffering, what he's going to do? He's going to look inside your ears. He's going to check your ears to see if there's any kind of infection there. And that stabilizer, that ears, to see if it's corrupted. And then you have which can differentiate between so many different tastes. Sour, sweet, bitter, and all the different that we enjoy when we eat the food. And that we produce. Okay? That enables us to soften the food. If we didn't have saliva, bread in our mouth, that bread would not become soft enough for us to swallow it. Hard. There's a doctor sitting here, and I'm saying all of these things. Maybe I don't know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, وَإِن تَعُدُّوا نِعْمَةَ اللَّهِ لَا تُحْصُوهَا. If you count the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will not be able to count them. So, what that means is that pay attention and worship that Allah who gave you. Don't worship the statues. Inna Allah Rahim, indeed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is indeed forgiving and merciful. That He hasn't, despite the fact that you disobey Him night and day, He doesn't take those blessings away. He continues to give you those blessings. Even those people, now will worship the shaitan, He continues to give them the blessings. People that deny His existence, He continues to give them their blessings. He is forgiving and He is merciful. This is how merciful He is. Inshallah, we'll stop the lesson today and we'll continue next week. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us tawfiq to understand and practice what's been said. SubhanAllah.
بالأمر المطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير طلع البدر علينا لثنيها وجب الشكر